some Jewish people into a room and they think it's a shower, but it's gas. Oh. And they said, right. I said, right, that ain't funny. So to me, it wasn't funny about putting a rope around my MFN neck.
Hey Fanatics, Denzel Washington, the amazing guy we all love, recently said some pretty worrisome stuff about Hollywood. Remember a while back when the whole thing with Will Smith at the Oscar Awards went down? Denzel has talked about the devil being an active part of Hollywood on multiple occasions, and this was one of them. He spoke up about the incident where Will slapped Chris Rock, and he mentioned the devil taking hold of him that night. Later, during Smith's acceptance speech for Best Actor, he even thanked Denzel and mentioned that Denzel had warned him. At your highest moment, be careful. That's when the devil comes for you. Denzel responded by saying, "There's a saying that when the devil ignores you, you might be doing something wrong. But when the devil comes after you, it could mean you're trying to do something right." He suggested that on that night, something led the devil to get a hold of Smith. But all this was just a subtle hint at what really goes on behind the scenes in Hollywood. Denzel has come all out this time and has spilled the beans on every single messed up thing that's been happening in the entertainment world, and we should warn you, these are all things people have been quietly talking about for a long time. Welcome to Fame Fanatics. Hit that subscribe button and stay in the loop with the latest celebrity news. You see, this isn't the first time someone's brought up Hollywood's shady side. Over the years, there have been reports and scandals that expose some bad stuff, like people taking advantage of others and a toxic vibe in the industry. In a recent chat with a Hollywood reporter, Denzel really shocked everyone. He revealed some fresh and surprising info. He basically told us what's really happening behind the scenes in the movie world, including some gossip about the big shots in the business. He criticized all the big shots in Hollywood for acting like they're way better than the rest of us, and for thinking they're like modern-day kings and queens. They live in super fancy mansions worth millions of dollars and don't really know what regular people deal with. But they act like they can tell us how to live our lives, even though most of us just roll our eyes at them. And that's not all. Denzel also had some words about how big Hollywood award shows are going downhill. He said they're turning into platforms for talking about politics and stuff instead of celebrating great movies. He further criticized the bigwigs, saying they talk a big game about being inclusive and diverse, but they don't usually do what they say. He also pointed out that they're more focused on looking good and showing off than actually making great movies. He had some strong words about award shows too. You know, those events where actors compete for shiny trophies and pat themselves on the back. Denzel said he never really had a lot of movie star friends, especially when he was just starting out. He joked that the big stars were like the third guy from the back in the movies. During the interview, he also made it clear that the challenges actors face can't really compare to the real heroes out there, like the guys in the military or those doing tough manual labor. Interestingly, Mel Gibson, who was also part of the interview, agreed with Denzel's thoughts and called out the Hollywood elites too. Throughout the chat, Gibson backed up what Denzel was saying. Denzel also gave us a peek into the strange side of the movie business. He talked about how these influential Hollywood people can push actors into doing things that go against their values. In this honest conversation, he even shared some stories about how he was pressured into taking on roles he didn't really want. All of this caused quite a stir in Hollywood, and Denzel made it clear that the entertainment industry needs to be more real and honest. It's safe to say that his interview really shook things up in the industry. What he said made the Hollywood giants feel pretty uneasy because they had to face some hard truths they've been ignoring. Denzel's bravery in speaking out started an important conversation about how the industry works and the role of the powerful people in charge. In the interview, Denzel also got a bit nostalgic and talked about the old days back in 1986. He shared a funny story about a weird movie role he was offered back then, but he also shared a pretty disturbing story from a movie he was made to do. In this film, his character, who was a black man, was wrongly accused of attacking a white woman, and that's a really troubling plot. What really shocked him, though, was that the movie also had scenes where they tried to electrocute and hang his character, all while trying to make him out to be some kind of twisted hero. But what really got to Denzel was how some people in Hollywood didn't seem to take the whole thing seriously. It was like they didn't realize how sensitive and serious the story was, and that led him feeling feeling pretty disappointed about certain parts of the industry. It's pretty sad to hear that even someone as talented and respected as Denzel Washington faced pressure and manipulation early in his career. But what's really impressive is that he didn't give in. He turned down roles that would have made him compromise his principles, and that says a lot about his character and integrity. Denzel has also been speaking up about a bigger issue in Hollywood. He's been shining a light on something called whitewashing, where roles meant for people of color get given to white actors. He's really passionate about promoting diversity and keeping things real in entertainment. His recent revelations have brought the problem of whitewashing back into the spotlight. In a candid interview, he talked about how actors sometimes have to go through really tough auditions that aim to exploit and embarrass them under a lot of pressure. It's like they're just pawns in a big game of power and control. Denzel also didn't shy away from talking about how some people in the industry get ahead because of who they know, not just because of their talent. He's been calling out these questionable practices, and it's causing quite a stir in Hollywood. His courage in using his platform to address these issues is really important. It's showing that there's a need for change in the entertainment world. Denzel is a shining example of true virtue, especially when compared to some Hollywood elites who use philanthropy as a way to look good. He's not just doing it for show, he's making a real impact. Denzel is involved with organizations like the Boys and Girls Clubs of America and Save Africa's Children, and this shows his dedication to helping young people and underprivileged communities around the world. He is also connected to the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, which shows his commitment to carrying on Mandela's legacy and fighting for a better future for kids in South Africa. Denzel's not in it for the attention or awards. He genuinely wants to make a positive difference through hands-on work, financial support, and raising awareness. Outside of his movie career, Denzel sets a great example of what it means to be a good person. He uses his success and privilege to help those who are less fortunate, and he is inspiring others to do the same. While Denzel's revelations only scratch the surface of the problems in Hollywood, it's clear that there's more going on behind the glitzy exterior. If the whole truth came out, it would definitely shock a lot of people. Speaking of which, people on the internet have a lot to say about the situation. One user even wrote, "Denzel, Ice Cube, Mel Gibson, Mark Wahlberg, and all these actors that have been coming forward ever since that movie Sound of Freedom. I've never seen so many celebrities and liberals freaking out over a movie like this before. It's funny and sad in a way." Drop your thoughts on all this in the comments below, and we'll catch you in the next video.